The young man kindly gave an old beggar an empty bottle. Unexpectedly, after the old man put the bottle into a cloth bag, he stood up and gently shook it a few times. The next second, dozens of bottles fell out of the cloth bag. The young man was stunned and stood there with his eyes wide open. The old man thought the young man had a kind heart, so he gave the cloth bag to the young man and told him to make good use of this magical treasure. Immediately afterward, the old man disappeared. The young man looked at the cloth bag in his hand with half belief and half doubt. He took out the jade bangle his mother had left him and put it into the bag. Unexpectedly, the jade bangle instantly became two. He imitated the old man's motion and shook the cloth bag. Soon dozens more jade bangles appeared. The young man was thrilled at the sight. He thought that with this treasure he could change his fate and make the ex-girlfriend who betrayed him pay the price. He planned to sell the bangles he had. On the way, he accidentally bumped into a beautiful internet celebrity and stepped on and ruined her skirt. The beauty demanded that the young man compensate her. With not a cent to his name, the young man had no choice. He took out the heirloom his mother had left him and said the bangle was worth $30,000. The beauty saw that the young man was plainly dressed and noticed that the cloth bag held dozens of identical bracelets, so she thought the bangle wasn't valuable. The young man suggested that the beauty have the bangle authenticated by an expert. To prove the young man was a liar, the beauty promised that if the bangle was authentic after appraisal, she would be the young man's maid for a month. Soon the beauty found an online appraisal expert. When the expert saw the young man's bangle, he recognized it as a treasure and immediately told the beauty to wait where she was while he rushed over. Before long, the expert arrived at the scene. He picked up the bangle from the ground and began the appraisal. He declared that the bangle's carving and craftsmanship were perfect. Then he asked the young man to name his price. He wanted to buy all the bangles. In the end, the two sides reached an agreement to sell them in a bundle at $50,000 apiece. After the transfer was completed, the expert invited the young man to attend the Rare Treasures convention with him that evening. The Rare Treasures convention is an annual grand event. Years ago, the richest man had a terminal illness and only managed to extend his life by 3 years thanks to a 7-star lamp he found at the convention. The richest man's daughter would also attend the Rare Treasures convention with the purpose of finding the next 7-star lamp. The young man looked at the cloth bag in his hand and thought that if he could get in with the richest man, he would have the means to deal with his ex-girlfriend and the rich heir who had bullied him. That evening, the young man attended with the beauty. He ran into his ex-girlfriend and the rich heir. They mocked the young man as a poor person who didn't belong there. The host prepared to have security throw the young man out. The richest man's daughter came forward and stopped them. Everyone immediately fell silent. She was there this time to search for the next 7-star lamp. Anyone who could provide a lead would win the richest man's $1 billion partnership project. Hearing this, the rich heir said that although he didn't have a 7-star lamp, he had found lamp oil that could slow the lamp's deterioration. The female CEO took the lamp oil and was very pleased, intending to give the $1 billion partnership project to the rich heir. The young man suddenly interrupted, saying he could produce a 7-star lamp. Once he said that, everyone was stunned. They all thought the young man was crazy. The female CEO warned the young man that he would die if he dared to lie. The young man asked the female CEO to bring out the previous 7-star lamp so he could see it. Then he threw the 7-star lamp into his cloth bag. The rich heir accused the young man of mocking the female CEO. The young man said the second 7-star lamp was in his cloth bag. The rich heir didn't believe him. The two then started a bet. If the young man could indeed produce a second 7-star lamp, the rich heir would publicly apologize to the young man and call him grandpa. The ex-girlfriend also said that if the young man could produce a second 7-star lamp, she would not only apologize but also return the herbal medicine shop to him. Seeing a chance to take revenge on his ex-girlfriend and the rich heir, the young man shook the cloth bag and then took out another 7-star lamp. At the sight of this, everyone was astonished.